TOA, Fit Body Forever, and Fit Body Bootcamp communities. What's up, everybody? I'm Robert Linkle with TrainingTheOlderAdult.com, and with Fit Body Bootcamp, I am your Director of Education out there with Fit Body. And I want to talk to you today about this lady. This is Dr. Jennifer Ashton, and she is a medical and health professional. She's the founder of Join Agenda, former ABC chief medical correspondent, board certified OBGYN, obesity med nutritionist, and weight women's health info. No medical advice, she says. Anyway, you can check out her page here if you want to check that out. I think this is one of my favorite posts of all time. Lots of videos of her teaching people how to lift. This is you at 50, time to bring up those lady muscles, like just, she's bench pressing some heavy weight. She's doing squats. She's doing some RDLs. I love it. This is like her whole adventure into the world of post 50, and we're going to talk about all ages, but for her specifically, post 50, it looks like, as she continues to comment in her posts, getting strong and growing into a stronger body. And this clip that she gives us is just fantastic. It's full of everything that we want people to say, and especially for the ladies out there, we really want you to jump the gun. We really want you to hear this message. It goes for everybody, but specifically the ladies, because this is something that our society has adopted, is that, when you get older, number one, you're not supposed to lift anything heavy, you'll break. And also, ladies, you're going to get huge and bulky if you touch those over 5-pound dumbbells. So let's listen to this. Big shout out to Tommy Joy Ryle Weber. I hope I'm saying that right, Weber, for sending this clip over. Thank you very much. I would not have seen it without you, so thank you. All right, here we go. Let's dive into it. The first little section here. Let's go.
You start to lose muscle mass as early as age 30. It goes way beyond vanity. We're literally talking about the key to vitality when you talk about muscles head to toe. First of all, muscle and bone communicate with each other, so we put a lot of attention on osteoporosis for women and men, but muscle around those bones is critical. We talk a lot about menopause.
Okay, let's dive into that real quick. Just quickly on the key to vitality.
Talking about the key to vitality when you talk about muscles head to toe.
The more, and this is proven too, the more muscle mass you have and that you're maintaining on your body, the higher quality of life you're going to have, the longer you're going to live, okay? Multiple studies correlating to that. Doesn't mean you have to be huge and bulky. It just means you need to be strong. You got to have muscle mass, and you kind of need it all over, right? Second point.
First of all, muscle and bone communicate with each other.
Muscle and bone communicate with each other. She's going to talk about sarcopenia and osteopenia. Ladies, you are 3 times more likely, at a minimum, probably more, 3 times more likely than men due to the low amounts of testosterone you have earlier in your life, and then the complete lack of testosterone and estrogen as you get older, when you become premenopausal, and then you go through menopause, your perimenopause, etc. You go through that whole process as the hormonal change occurs. If you don't get some type of hormone replacement therapy, the potential for muscle loss and bone loss is very, very high. And if you're not training hard and heavy, you're going to lose muscle mass, you're going to lose bone density, and that's why you're 3 times more likely than men. Men, we have more testosterone, and men are more likely to lift heavy things and be more physical in nature, just based on job demands and sport and everything else. Again, there's always acceptances across the board. I'm just going with standard outlines here, is that historically and statistically, I think it's like 8-to-1 men gym memberships versus ladies. Okay. And in terms of how much they resistance train, men are always more inclined to lift heavier loads. However, the benefits are exactly the same. Everybody should be lifting heavier loads to build the muscle mass that they need and the bone density they need. So she's going to go into this in a second, talking about the sarcopenic response. However, as your muscles get stronger, they are naturally going to pull on the bones more, making the bones stronger. And if you lift heavy enough load to make the bones stronger under that stress, the muscles are going to go along with it. So when she talks about how they communicate with each other, that's what she means. The neurological system in your brain sends the signal, do a bicep curl. And so the muscles go, turn on, move these bones through this range of motion. Like they're all literally connected, but they're connected with this kinetic chain and movement pattern, is that they're all going to kind of call. The nervous system's going to send to the muscle's going to pull on the bone's going to hold and move through the range of motion, and that's going to kind of continue. So yes, communication, but they are all in a collab, if you will, on how they're going to all improve at the same time if this load and tempo is appropriate. Notice she talks about grip strength test up there and the time chair sit. All of you Fit Body Forevers out there, that's our case study right there. Isn't that cool? This doctor's out there talking about our case study. That's what we're doing right now, is testing that exactly. This is sarcopenia. This is osteoporosis. This is fall prevention. This is life expectancy, longevity, early mortality rate, etc. Those are the 4 things that we're doing our case study on right here in this one little clip.
We put a lot of attention on osteoporosis for women and men, but muscle around those bones is critical. We talk a lot about menopause, perimenopause. Muscle has estrogen and testosterone receptors in our entire body, a muscle head to toe. And this is not just an issue for our moms and grandmothers. You start to lose muscle mass, are you ready? As early as age 30. And
30. We are seeing I'm going to say a significant chunk of our population of younger people who do not embrace fitness, who work jobs where they sit all day long, where their hobbies or extra outside of work activities include staring at their computer or a gamer or their phone or anything along those lines, okay? The gamer, like hanging on the line, I'm such an old man, video games, etc. So really you're sitting, not moving, sitting, not moving, sitting, not moving, you go to sleep where you're not moving. So what do you think after 28 years of gravity pulling on you and you've done nothing? Now, if you throw in that you're poorly hydrated, you're malnourished, right? Well, now your bones and your muscles really aren't going to hold up against the gravitational demands. So, man, you're going to start losing quick. And we're just seeing it more and more. Now, if you add in hereditary components of some people have better genes than others. And if you're already somebody coming in with poor posture, or you have, genetic disc disease, or you have osteoporosis / osteopenia in your makeup, right? Then genetically you were predisposed to this even further. So yeah, 28, 29, 30-year-olds are having osteopenia, early onset of osteoporosis. They're having sarcopenia, loss of muscle mass and function, okay? And have I heard another doctor say that definition for sarcopenia? She's going to say it in a minute. And exactly the way that I haven't. This is for other than Peter Attia and Huberman, like people that are already out there preaching, like a regular doctor on television. I have not heard anybody else say this. So this part I love.
It goes down about 3% every decade.
That's even greater now. This is information from like 2018, where they say you lose about 3% of your muscle mass every decade. That's even more now. It's up to like 5%, I think. So significant losses here.
And what we're trying to avoid is a condition called sarcopenia, which is a loss of not just muscle mass, but the functionality that goes along with that muscle. And again, directly correlated with our risk of dying from all causes.
Okay, did you see that at the top? There's my stat right there. Okay, 3 to 5% per decade. So that's climbing. Sarcopenia, the loss of muscle mass and function. I love it. She nailed it. Okay, love it. I want to do that again.
Functionality that goes along with that muscle. And again, directly correlated with our risk of dying from all causes. Specifically, when you're talking about women, there's a lot we can do to build our muscle. First of all, you need to take in enough protein in your diet.
This is a big one. You need a lot of protein every day. Protein is really difficult for some people to get in, and they just think, I can't eat enough meat. It doesn't always have to come from meat. There are plenty of vegetables that do have protein in them. You just need to eat a lot of it, right? There's legumes, there's different nuts, all kinds of other things that you can, if that's a priority for you in your diet, to not just consume it from meat. Eggs, right? It doesn't have to always just be an animal product, is my point. And then if you still struggle with it, then there are supplements that can do that. You can do a dairy-free version. You can do an animal-free version. You could do soy. You could do oat. Like there's all kinds of different proteins out there. It doesn't have to just be a whey, meat-based, beef-based, or dairy-based, casein-based protein, whey protein. It can be, there's all kinds of different supplements to help you achieve this every day. But a good goal for that, and I've seen some as high as like whatever you weigh in pounds, that should be how many grams of protein you get every day. I think that's a bit excessive, but I'd say like 70% of that. So if let's just say you weigh, 200 pounds, like 150 grams of protein would be sufficient, right? I mean, I think that will serve you well. If you weigh 100 pounds, I would say 70 to 75 grams of protein a day would be sufficient. That's kind of a minimum. That would really cover your bases. If you're trying to build and bulk even more, I think more protein, the better. And that would be beneficial for you.
Needs to be about 20 grams for each snack, 30 grams for each meal. So again, read those nutritional labels, look at your menus.
So if you're doing that 3 times a day, she wants 30 grams per meal. So there's 90 right there, right? And then if you're doing 20 per snack, well, I'm at 140, 150 a day for a 150-pound person. I mean, there's your body weight in grams, right? So, I mean, I don't want to over protein people. If you ask my wife, she really likes the 0.6 versus 1 full gram, like 0.6, a little bit more than half. So you'd be, for a 150-pound person, 60 to 75 grams. I think that's a bare minimum. I encourage people to go even a little bit higher.
Things like low acid diet, there's some data that correlates that with improved muscle mass. So high fruits and vegetables, lifting heavy weights, Laura, and I'm not talking about the 2.5-pound dumbbells. Yeah. I'm talking about things that are really hard to lift about 3 times a week.
Boom. That's exactly what we needed to hear. That's exactly what we needed to hear. We needed to hear this part right here.
Vegetables, lifting heavy weights, Laura, and I'm not talking about the 2.5-pound dumbbells. Yeah. I'm talking about things that are really hard to lift about 3 times a week.
Really hard to lift about 3 times a week. Let me remind you about the Lift More studies that performed a jump, negative chin-up, horizontal push, chest press, horizontal row, leg press, and pull downs. 5 lifts, that's it. And they lift overhead press, not the pull down, overhead press, horizontal push, horizontal row, leg press, and chin-ups, okay? Those are the 5 lifts that they did. 20 to 25 minutes, 3 days a week. That's all they did. They did that for 16 weeks, I think, was the first assessment of checking to see how their improvements were. The whole thing was like 52 weeks, maybe a year, right around in there, like somewhere right around a year and a half. I'll have to review. I get a whole bunch of these all kind of mixed up. I'm like 18 months. No, wait. Was it only 16 months? So let's just safely call it at least a year. And these ladies, number one, the craziest part was like they got a centimeter taller, which means they're not slouching and hunching forward. So they're retracting, and their head is being able to posturally improve. Their kyphotic position improved, their bone density improved, and some of the more difficult locations, the femoral neck and the hip, and the humeral neck in the shoulder, those areas improved in bone density. And if any area didn't improve, it didn't lose, it just didn't improve, it maintained, which is always a win for anybody over the age of 45 to 50, is that we just don't want to lose any more bone mass, muscle mass as well. We can gain quite a bit of muscle mass all the way up through our edges, but gaining bone density is a whole different ballgame. It's really difficult to do that. You got to lift heavy. You got to give your body enough of the main pieces to rebuild muscle and bone, and that plays a big part with the protein intake, along with sleeping well and hydrating, allowing your body to recover days in between, and then lifting really heavy things. It needs to be super challenging. And we have so many people that are, well, I don't want to get hurt. Well, progressive overload is named that on purpose. It's progressive. You start light, and then as soon as that weight kind of feels like this is pretty easy, a little heavier and a little heavier and a little heavier. And eventually you're going to get to a point where you're like, this is damn heavy and I'm handling it well. And your body goes, dude, you've built me to do this. This is what I do. I have stronger binding sites. I have more muscle mass. I have better range of motion. I have more bone density. Like, you've built me to do this. So stop being afraid of lifting something heavy. If you don't lift and then you just go grab an 80-pound kettlebell and try to heave it off the ground, yeah, you're probably going to get hurt because your body has not adapted to that. You have not adopted in the mindset of resistance training. You're basically just like, let's just go throw caution in the wind and see if I can pull this thing off the ground. That's when people do get hurt because it's not very smart, not a very progressive mindset. But if you progress weekly, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, eventually you're lifting lots of load and your body knows exactly how to do it because you've progressed it and you've built it in step by step. And now it can do that all the time, whatever the challenge is, wherever I am. I'm out working in the yard. I'm picking up bags of dog food. I'm carrying in my groceries. I'm throwing my kids or my grandkids up on my shoulder, whatever it is, right? Whatever it is that you're doing, you're ready to do it. But are those 2.5-pound pink dumbbells going to do that for you? No. So you need to go, well, I'll just do more reps then with that light weight because I don't want to get hurt. And what happens? You get inflammation, you get tendinitis, you get bursitis, you get overuse injuries, which is the whole reason you decided to use lighter weights in the first place is you didn't want to get hurt. And what happens? You get hurt because you overused it now. So it's either going to be too heavy or too many reps. Somewhere in the middle is progressive overload. And as long as you walk that line, either with or without a professional. If you need help, get somebody to help you do that. As long as you walk that line appropriately, you're going to be damn strong. You're going to be super healthy. You're not going to fall down. And if you do, you will be dense enough to survive it. One of my clients recently just fell twice in the last week and a half, 2 weeks, out on trips, cobblestone over in Mexico, Spain, wherever she was, somewhere else, slipped on ice, fell. Neither time broke anything, but hit the ground hard, right? Survived her falls because she lifts heavy weights and she had enough muscle mass and bone density to her where things would not break. And per her age and per her gender, female lady, at this point, the statistics were not in her favor to not break something and have a catastrophic effect to her life. And the fact that she survived through that twice and is now onto another trip, which we're like, God, please be careful, knock on wood, right? She's going to be good. Because she's built that into her body. And this doctor is saying all the right things. So I'm a huge fan. I could not be more appreciative. She earned a follow right away if I'm helping her improve in her I think she's got, let me see. She already has like 550,000. Here she is. Jennifer Ashton. Yeah, 537,000 followers. So one more from me. But Dr. John Russin, quite a few other, Gabrielle Lyon, quite a few other of our pros all follow her as well. And I'm sure that article, that one clip right there had a lot to do with it. Okay, getting strong, fit body after 50. She's doing kickstand RDLs, right? She's doing all kinds of really good lifts, squats, and she's dynamic, doing some explosive stuff. I mean, this is exactly what we want. This is exactly what incline bench press, right? She's doing V-ups. Yeah, she's got great lifts. Looks like she's got a good coach. Here's chicken soup. She's off to work. She's asking questions. She's doing some core work, okay, building her strength, getting her protein in. She's out there spreading the word. Here we go. Cold plunge, polar plunge. She's diving in the cold, right? Getting her polar plunge and getting her cold therapy treatment there. Here we go. One of my favorites, because you can stand on one foot while you're brushing your teeth. You know what that does for you? It teaches you to be really good at standing on one foot while you brush your teeth. How many people fall standing on one foot while brushing their teeth? I haven't seen any statistical support to that at all. You know where they all fall? When they're walking around, when they're moving up and over things, obstacles, flooring that is not sound, when dogs run into them, when they're outside, on uneven grounds, that's when they fall down. So that's where the resistance training component of this is good. I'm not saying you can't work on your balance and stand on one foot. Fine. But saying that, I do that. I stand on one foot while I brush my teeth. I'm not going to fall. I completely disagree with that, right? Completely disagree with it. Okay. Some of the hardest things are really easy. Here she goes. She's doing some more deadlifts, trying some challenges. I love it, man. Personal best, 30 pounds, sets of 10 for 4 sets with her 30-pound dumbbells. She just threw those up there to show us how heavy she was lifting. And she's on like a slight incline there, getting a little more upper pec work. So I'm a fan. Dr. Jennifer Ashton, right? Yeah, Ashton. There we go. All right. Spreading the good word. I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any comments, questions, anything for me, feel free to throw it in the chat down below. If not, as always, continue to fight your good fight against sarcopenia. We love and appreciate you all, and we'll talk to you next time. Take care.